Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're taking a really close look at the Measurable Data Token, or MDT. It's this project, this whole ecosystem really, trying to fundamentally change how our personal data gets used and valued.
Exactly. And our goal today, well, it's to unpack all of that. We want to dig into MDT's decentralized model, look at their products, check out their latest financials. The Q3 2025 report just dropped. And importantly, we need to talk about the market challenges and risks they're facing right now. It's not all smooth sailing.
No, definitely not. And the problem they're trying to solve, it's something we all kind of feel, isn't it? You hear it all the time. Big data is the new oil. But the folks actually producing that oil, that's you, the user, often have no idea what their data's worth. And they certainly don't get paid for it. It just leads to this messy, non-transparent market.
Right. And MDT's whole reason for being is to fix that mess. Their solution is the MDT token itself. It's an ERC20 token, runs on Ethereum. It's the fuel for this decentralized data economy where users get compensated, actually paid for sharing anonymous data points. Anonymous is key there. The whole point is to align everyone's interests. Users get rewarded and control, providers have a framework, and buyers get valuable, reliable data. Okay, so to really get how this works, you need to understand the mechanics, the underlying system, and the three main roles involved in any data exchange on their platform.
All right, let's break that down. Who are the key players here?
So first, there's the user. That's you listening. You get rewarded with MDT for sharing specific measurable data points, anonymously again.
Yeah.
Second, you have the data provider. Think of this as the app or service you're using, like MailTime or RewardMe, which are MDT's own apps. They collect the data. And third, the data buyer. These could be hedge funds, big companies, research firms, anyone who needs high-quality consumer insights.
Okay, and you mentioned the team behind MDT. They weren't new to the app world, were they? They built MailTime, which did really well, and TalkBox even before that.
Yeah, exactly. MailTime was an app store, best of 2015, Y Combinator backed. TalkBox was literally the first voice messaging app. They have history. And that history is actually crucial to understanding MDT's mission.
How so? Why jump from messaging apps to decentralized data?
Well, according to them, their experience with TalkBox was formative. They saw it get caught up in what they called a closed network war. Basically, messaging became fragmented, data got siloed, platforms built walls around themselves. It was frustrating. So MDT was born from that frustration. The vision was, let's build an open platform this time, one where data value flows freely and the user's in control, not locked behind some corporate wall.
Okay. So that experience directly led to this decentralized, open approach, which brings us back to the mechanics. You mentioned smart contracts on Ethereum. How does that guarantee things? Like, what if a data buyer says, hey, this data isn't good?
Right, that's a critical piece. The smart contract acts like an automated escrow. The data buyer puts the payment into the contract, it's held there, the data gets delivered. If everything's fine, the contract releases the payment. Simple. But if the buyer disputes it, says the data is faulty,
yeah, what then?
Then the measurable platform steps in. There's a standardized arbitration process. They review the dispute. If they find the data is valid, the contract pays out to the provider. If it's not valid, the buyer gets their money back, minus a small calculation fee. It makes the whole thing pretty transparent and, importantly, reduces risk for both sides. It's designed to build trust. And they double down on that with a transparency portal they launched back in Q2 2025. Anyone can go check the user numbers, the financial performance, updated monthly, real-time accountability.
That transparency is definitely key for trust, especially in crypto. Okay, so let's switch gears a bit. How does this actually make money? How does the ecosystem sustain itself? I see two main product areas they talk about.
You got it. There are two main pillars right now. The first one, the business-facing side, is Measurable AI. This is really the core revenue generator at the moment. It's essentially an alternative data provider. It takes all that anonymous user data, aggregates it, and turns it into consumer insights for businesses. And they're smart about it, focusing heavily on high-growth emerging markets. Think Southeast Asia, Latin America, the Middle East.
Smart. And how's that revenue engine doing? What did the Q3 numbers look like?
Pretty healthy, actually. Their data licensing revenue hit $1.57 million in Q3 2025. That's up 16% from the previous quarter. So solid growth. And they've got real traction. Their client list is impressive, includes 6 out of the world's 10 biggest ride-hailing companies and 7 out of the 10 biggest food delivery platforms.
Wow. Okay, so major players are buying this data. Can you give an example of the kind of insights Measurable AI provides? What are businesses using it for?
Sure. It gets pretty granular. They publish research digging into things like a specific McDonald's toy promotion in Hong Kong, the Chikawa Toys thing, analyzing consumer response, purchase patterns, or broader trends, like mapping out Talabat's food delivery dominance in the UAE. And the data quality seems high. They claim it's been ranked #1 for accuracy in predicting things like gross merchandise value, basically total sales for companies like Grab, and even forecasting international revenue for giants like McDonald's.
Yeah.
So it's valuable intel.
Okay, so Measurable AI seems genuinely successful. $1.57 million quarterly revenue, top-tier clients, high accuracy, which begs the question, if the business side is doing so well, why all the concern about the token price and market risks? Where is the disconnect?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And yeah, we absolutely need to get into those risks in a bit. But first, let's look at the other side of the ecosystem, the consumer side. How do they get users involved? That brings us to RewardMe.
Right, RewardMe, that's the app for users, the way people actually contribute data.
Exactly. It's their main user acquisition tool right now. It gives users cash back now in MDT crypto for sharing purchase data from e-commerce, food delivery, ride-hailing apps. They crossed 2 million installs, which is pretty significant. And in Q3, they had about 0.26 million active users sharing data through it. The big shift was RewardMe 2.0, integrating MDT directly for cashback and adding staking. So you can stake your MDT to earn higher reward rates. That creates actual demand and utility for the token itself.
And the original app, MailTime, is that still contributing?
Oh yeah, definitely. MailTime, the email as messenger app, is still a huge source of data. They reported 2.8 million active data sharing users from MailTime in Q3. And it works both ways there too. Users earn MDT for sharing data, but they can also spend MDT on premium features within MailTime, like AI tools. It creates that circular economy they're aiming for. So looking forward, their roadmap is pretty ambitious. It looks like they're really pushing to give users more control while also creating even more sophisticated tools for businesses.
Right. It seems the focus is shifting more towards empowering the user, making that data control a real future. What's this PassportMe thing about?
PassportMe sounds really interesting. It's slated for Q4 2025, so very soon. It's planned as a decentralized identity solution. The idea is to give you, the user, explicit consent-based control over your personal data. You'll be able to manage permissions, decide what gets shared, and even monetize your spending data directly and securely. It's about digital sovereignty, really.
Okay, user sovereignty. And for businesses needing targeted audiences, there's AudienceMe. How does that work?
Yeah, AudienceMe is designed to refine the data monetization. Based on the anonymized purchase data, they can create these focused seed audience lists. Think like a list of over 1,000 users who exhibit specific purchasing behaviors, maybe use competitor apps. Business can then use these lists for lookalike advertising campaigns, finding new customers who resemble the seed audience. More targeted, more efficient.
That sounds like periodic reports or lists. What if a business needs answers right now?
That's where Actionable AI comes in. Measurable AI provides these rich but periodic data sets. Actionable AI is meant to be different. It's envisioned as an interactive AI agent. Clients could ask complex questions about the data. Show me the spending overlap between users of Service A and Service B in this city, and get immediate visual answers. Much faster analytics.
And then there's the Universal Basic Income app, the UBI app. That sounds philosophically aligned with the whole pay users for data idea.
It really does. That's another brand new app planned for Q4 2025. The concept is simple. Allow users to collect or earn MDT tokens daily, just based on the value their data helps create. It's a very direct way of making sure that continuous data contribution gets continuously rewarded, a step towards that UBI from data concept.
We should probably also mention how the token is used within the existing apps, not just earned. MailTime has features that require spending MDT.
Yes, absolutely. That's crucial for token utility. The VIP mail feature in MailTime is a good example. You can basically charge people MDT to send you an email, filtering out spam, or use it to connect with professionals via a masked email address. So if you want to cut through the noise or access certain features, you need to spend MDT. That creates real demand for the token. Okay, so the ecosystem growth, the product roadmap, it all sounds quite positive, right? Lots of development, increasing utility. But we have to balance that against the market reality. The external pressures and risks are significant.
Let's quickly recap those Q3 growth numbers first, just to set the stage.
Right. So overall, accumulated data sharing users topped 6.67 million. That's up 15% year over year. Pretty good growth. And Q3 data monetization revenue, as we said, 1,576,531 per ounces, up 9% year over year. So the core business metrics show growth. But this positive trend just isn't reflected in the token's market performance.
Yeah, that's the big disconnect. Total supply is fixed at 1 billion MDT. Back in the 2017 ICO, the price was $0.14. But now, late October 2025, it's trading way down, around, 2 cents? Maybe 2.5 cents? $0 or 2 cents to 0.0247. That's a huge drop from the ICO price.
It is, and a big part of that pressure comes from the exchange environment. It's been rough. In June 2025, Binance put MDT on its monitoring tag list. This is basically a warning sign, flags high volatility, even potential delisting risk. That spooks investors. And then the same month, OKX actually did delist MDT. That caused an immediate price drop, about 4.2% on other exchanges like XT.com.
And wasn't there also an issue with Binance and the different token standards, the BEP20 versus ERC20 thing?
Yes, another headache for holders. Binance stopped supporting deposits and withdrawals for the BEP20 version of MDT. That meant users had to bridge their tokens over to the native ERC20 standard on Ethereum, which involves, technical steps, gas fees. It's friction. It makes holding and using the token more complicated and potentially costly for the average user, undermining that goal of an easy-to-use data economy. It all adds to the perceived risk.
Okay, so exchange issues, technical friction. What about the token's ownership structure itself? Is that a factor?
A huge factor. We're talking about whale concentration. On-chain data suggests that a very small number of wallets, the whales, control something like 82% of the entire MDT supply. 82%, that's incredibly concentrated.
Well, what does that mean practically?
It means massive potential for volatility and manipulation. If one or two whales decide to sell large amounts, they can crash the price very quickly. It creates a lot of uncertainty. Even if the underlying project is doing well, the token price can swing wildly based on what these few large holders do. Right now, technically, some indicators look bullish. The RSI, Relative Strength Index, is high, around 80.48.
But that high RSI can also mean it's overbought, right? Vulnerable to a correction.
Exactly. An RSI over 70, especially over 80, often signals overbought conditions. It suggests the recent price rise might be unsustainable, driven perhaps by speculation or whale activity, and can reverse sharply. It adds another layer of risk on top of everything else. #outro.
Okay, so wrapping this up, we've really explored two contrasting narratives today, haven't we? On one hand, you've got clear progress within the MDT ecosystem itself, Measurable AI pulling in real revenue, user numbers growing past 6.6 million, exciting new products like the UBI app and PassportMe on the horizon, promising more utility and user control.
Absolutely. There's undeniable forward momentum in the technology and the business development side. Real utilities being built. But then on the other hand, you have these significant market headwinds. The token price is way down from its highs. There are serious concerns about exchange listings and stability. And this heavy concentration of tokens in the hands of whales just looms over the market, creating volatility risk.
So for you, listening to this, trying to make sense of MDT, what's the key takeaway?
Well, here's something interesting to chew on. MDT has about 8 years of price history now. And historically, there's been a pretty clear seasonal pattern. February tends to be its strongest month, statistically. June tends to be its weakest. Now we're seeing real fundamental growth in Q3, driven by things like RewardMe 2.0 getting traction, and the anticipation building for these new Q4 launches of the UBI app, PassportMe. So final thought, the provocative question maybe, is this. Is the utility finally catching up? Does this current momentum, based on actual product adoption and upcoming features, have enough strength to finally break those old seasonal patterns and overcome the market FUD? That's what we'll be watching.